Oh, and the pre-bans are looking extremely familiar with Light Gojo and Jogun getting locked down there.
Yeah, definitely are. And yeah, we see QIANG here, best rank 8. So he's already got a new best here, making the legend tournament. But man, he's got a tough road ahead of him to get that first legend.
Oh yeah, many times. Yeah, he's the only one here who hasn't had a legend title win so far. So it's could potentially be an underdog story, even though he's made it this far. It's like when you made it this far, are you really an underdog? Maybe not, but we can root for him nonetheless. Pooh locking in a Shiho on that first pick slot.
Yeah, and Pook staying true to his style here a little bit, not going any LDs at least thus far, playing the very affordable monsters, for many players here in chat probably do have these two available. So, Pooh might be someone that, if you're trying to improve in RTA, he might be one that you want to watch because he, likely you could reproduce these drafts, maybe with, worse rune quality, but still, obviously, you know, if you're trying to be at rank 1, you need to have extremely strong runes. And we see a ragdoll. Wow.
Oh, interesting. You know what though? This is a really good opportunity to pick a ragdoll. Like there's fewer of those opportunities than previously there were because right now we got a Laura who's likely going to crit. We got the Etna who we know is going to crit, and Chandra who at least has a guaranteed crit on skill 1.
Yeah, Ragdoll has definitely fallen a little bit out of meta here since the last nerf as well as all these meta changes coming through. But this is definitely, a very good game for Ragdoll. If not, we don't nearly see as much either because of that monster there, the Fire Megumi. But now, QIANG taking that away from Pooh, so Pooh does have to go for a Fire Monkey, which is still a very solid counter in this Efna.
Yeah, the fire. I love the fire monkey here because I mean every single unit on that side has some stun baked into their kit. So the fire monkey just being able to stand proud and not falter to those stuns is a great call.
Yeah, definitely. Also, it was a bit surprising that QIANG almost playing into that ragdoll a little bit, drafting another AoE monster in the Okeanos, which I believe Okeanos still awake isn't the crit rate. So he is going to be critting quite a bit, and no surprise there to see that QIANG does just, opt to ban out that ragdoll. That disruption is just too much for him to handle, most likely.
Doesn't want all that bar to get fed. Here we go, guys. Match 2,
Whoa.
set number 1 here. Etna takes turn 1, devastating the Shiho.
But notably, there are no will runes on the side of Pooh. It's a quite
Oh,
interesting
whoa.
strategy there. I wonder if QIANG is a wounds user, and Pooh prepared for this in particular by that fast Villagel making making it so that there is now immunity in the side of Pooh.
Yeah, that's it. That is a really nice little tech there, the no will. We've seen that before in SWC. I'm getting flashes back to moments of no will. Now we got the Fire Monkey King procking on the Fire Megami.
Yeah, but resistance is all around. Megumi getting resisted on that Bellatrix. Fire Monkey not landed that defense break there either. And we'll see what this Chandra can do. Maybe looking to go for a skill 1 buff remove here, but no ops. Just go for that little bit boost from the skill 3. Okeanos can now reach this monkey to prevent it from getting that skill 3 off.
Yeah, and oh wow, and just dumps the skill 3, says I'm going all in for damage on the Shiho. I think QIANG is doing a really good job in hedging his bets for the future. He's like, I don't think I can handle both a Shiho and a Meiho Wang.
I'm not the biggest fan of using the Okeano skill 3 there. The Villagel has not used his heal yet, so a lot of that AoE damage will be getting, repaired, fixed, so to say, that heal there. And the immunity, you still have these buff removers in the Megumi that, now we see there are no immunities in the side of Pooh. So imagine if Okeanos had a skill 3 now.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. Maybe he got a little overboard with trying to take down the Shiho.
Yeah, but either way, Shiho will be going down here, but QIANG's Efna is also down here. And this Fire Monkey is looking very dangerous in this draft.
Yeah, he can solo from here. We've seen Fire Monkey Kings do crazier stuff for sure.
Yeah, for sure we have. Okeanos is that damage dealer that might be able to deal with this monkey, but without the defense break from this Fire Megumi, I don't think it's going to be happening. A monkey looking to now confirm that kill, does get the kill, and I believe there is nothing stopping this monkey now.
Yeah, QIANG does not have what it takes to take down Meiho Wang. Look at this, the lockdown on Okeanos. Here comes the defense break. Oh, but Oki is actually going to shake this off and can potentially throw it onto somebody else. But even that Topa, I still don't think is enough to turn this game around.
Yeah, there's no way. Even if the Villagel dies here, as you always like to say, the Villagel and the Oliver are optional in this match. This Fire Monkey will just carry this game home for Pooh.
Exactly. It's all about perspective, man. Like, yeah, the only monster that matters here is the Fire Monkey King, and we know this thing crits on water.
Yeah, man, QIANG doesn't even want to see it. He knows it too. That thing will crit him, and it will take down the Chandra in no time. So he just concedes the round one, and maybe looking to bring a little bit more damage in the second round here to deal with those bruiser options that Pooh is able to bring out.
Well done. Well done, Pooh. Getting that first round win. The no will. Yeah, the no will took me by surprise. So you called out like maybe there's a Woonsa that we might see down the line. That could be really cool.
Yeah, well, I doubt that we're going to see a wounds now, if QIANG is also paying attention to that fact that there's no will runes. So, no, you definitely do want to take a note of that. I wonder if QIANG has anything to punish that.
Great question. Yeah, so it might be enough to stave that off for now. And we got Pooh leading early. I want to remind everybody who might have arrived a little bit late, we're doing best of 5 tonight, so there's still plenty more games in this set. We got more time for QIANG to warm up against Pooh here, which is a tough thing to ask for. Pooh is like one of the best players out there.
Yeah, he definitely is. He did drop the ragdoll in that match. So to be fair, he didn't go full elementals there, but he is utilizing a lot of elemental monsters to get to this point. And even in the draft, we saw Diligent in the first round in the last game going for all 5 LDs, and that's not something that's like completely out of the ordinary at this level. So seeing someone only drafting 1 or 0 LDs a lot of times is quite impressive.
Oh yeah, I thought your comment was still very, it held true for sure. Because I mean, clearly the ragdoll was, also optional because he got banned out and didn't, and he still won without it. So it was also like one of the rare opportunities where ragdoll is very good these days. Those are fewer and farther between.
Yeah, they definitely are. As a ragdoll owner myself, you really don't see those games very often, but we'll see how Pooh adapts now in this game too, Definitely looking to change things up, just stealing that Fire Megumi right away.
QIANG bringing the heat, like Gojo and Tian Lang at the same time, looking to soak up some of that attack bar that the Fire Megumi is trying to gain.
Yeah, Tian Lang, a very solid counter against his Fire Megumi. And, Tian Lang just counters so many monsters in the game, right? Like, even, the Shiho skill 2 kind of gets countered by Tian Lang. Belju skill 3 gets countered by Tian Lang, There's so many skills that incidentally have a little bit of attack bar boost, and Tian Lang loves all of those.
He counters so much, and you spoke his name, and here he is, the Shiho in that third pick slot. It's fun to see the Lamila back again. We're seeing less Velasca. I don't know if these players have Velasca, but at least Lamila is still here.
Yeah, Lamil with that skill 3, multi-hit, provoke, branding, it's just quite strong. And, I was going to mention that Lamila is actually, I feel like she kind of rose to popularity to counter all these Josephines, right? Because Lamila doesn't actually have any CC, so it doesn't activate this Josephine passive. But we spoke a little bit during the break as well. Like, I feel like Josephine has kind of falling out of meta a little bit. But now, even though the counter is there in Lamila, QIANG's still picking up that Josephine.
You made a really good point. With the rise of popularity in Jogun and Ciara, she is less impactful for sure because, she will wake up, she'll get a shield, but a unit will be taken down by the Ciara bomb.
Yeah, and wow, Pooh now picking up a Riley. That is also a monster, that is a monster that everyone will definitely have access to, a fusible monster, very free to play monster there, and a monster that we don't usually see at this level of play. But I do like a Riley pick. I am kind of a Riley enjoyer a little bit. I think she provides a lot of sustain and can be very annoying to take down.
Riley is like the queen of heals, one of the most aggressive sources of healing that's available to everybody inside the fusion hexagram, like you said. So, and this is as foretold, Topa. You said that if for folks at home who want to look at an all elemental draft, this is it, dude. Even featuring a fusible Nat 5.
Yeah, there it is. And QIANG does seem a little bit flustered here. He almost ran out of time with that last pick there. And I am not a fan of Zibala here. I mean, maybe are you looking really to ban out that Riley? No, but like Zibala really does nothing into Riley except almost just like feed her that, skill 4 totem.
Yeah, this is a little exactly because ultimately you can't put on cooldown what does not have a cooldown. So she's going to get her skill 4 ASAP. Let's see, we're actually seeing some will on this side. Here comes Etna starting off the game the same way, but doesn't quite cross into that 50% threshold to get the guaranteed stun.
Yeah, quite unfortunate there. I mean, I doubt Pooh's monkey is built on any sort of resistance, so that is likely just a 15% chance to get resisted there. But, that happens, as we have definitely seen in past games, and, we'll see in future games as well. Shiho now able to take that turn, gets the stun, but Riley is going to be able to cleanse that provoke off that Lamela.
Gives the turn a cooldown time back to Josephine. Here comes the cleanse. Yeah, I couldn't help it. QIANG looked a little unsure of what to do on that turn. There wasn't something super effective to do with Zibala, but then again, I don't know if we were that big of fans of Zibala to begin with.
Yeah, I think this draft is just so favored for Pooh. Like this fire bike is going to come with the skill 3 now. That is going to be a dead F now. That is doing 9,000 a hit with the help of that branding coming out of Lamela. And how do you have enough damage to kill through this Riley at this point? I'm not sure you do.
I don't think so either. I honestly, I hate to sound like a broken record, but I think Shiho can do it alone. To be honest, we're getting to that point, and he doesn't even have to because everybody's looking super healthy here.
Yeah, that's a bit ambitious for Shiho to solo here, but with the help of the Riley, I think those two are probably able to take this game. I think the other two are probably optional here. Now Zibala is able to find a window to utilize the skill 3, but that Riley doesn't have a cooldown on that skill 4, and being wind doesn't get frozen, so.
That was the moment you called. Zibala is going to feed her the fourth skill, and it's exactly what happened. We're going through the motions right now. Pooh doesn't want to do anything too drastic because there is a little bit of danger in a defense break from a Tian Lang followed by a Josephine. She procs into you after he sets up Death Break. There is some danger here, but Pooh pretty much has this in the bag.
Yeah, if you have a defense break in RTA, you have damage. It's kind of my thing to say, but you just don't probably have enough damage here. Like, you don't have enough burst. You would need this game to go on until maybe 40 HP down, 40 attack up. We're at 20 up, 20 down right now, and with your limited heals on the Zibala, I'm not sure if you're QIANG, you're going to be surviving up until that point.
Right, exactly. And now the defense break is down, and I think I'm sure QIANG is probably not much longer for this game here. He's probably thinking about what he wants to do in the next one.
Yeah, maybe trying to just take this one kill before he goes out here, but Riley says, no, sir, my whole team will be making it to the finish line. And there we go, QIANG, concedes that round 2, and Pooh has that very dominant showing here once again.
Really well done. He's at match point. He's got that 2-0 lead right now in this best of 5 series. Dude, that Riley is so fun to watch, man. Like, I hate it when that happens to me if my opponent ever has had a Riley back when she was popular. But like I said, aggressive heals brought the whole team back up to pretty much full health.
Yeah, she's just a very frustrating monster. If she gets those violent procs, she has a lot of heals. So yeah, that Lamela was probably at 10% health. And then with one Riley proc, she was probably at 80, 90% health. So that really just goes to show how strong Riley can be in the right draft. And credit to Pooh for, finding that right draft here.
He's good at that. Good at really seeing the moments where these monsters can shine. He did that with the Ragdoll last game. We credited him for that too. He saw the crits, so he's like, okay, Ragdoll's real good. He sees all these moments where it's like, okay, well, Riley can just heal up my team. Throws down a Riley. Both are getting more unorthodox these days, so that was really cool to see from Pooh.
Yeah, definitely exceptional drafting coming out of Pooh here. So QIANG really needs to step up his game. He definitely looked a bit, shaken that last match as well, so he really needs to lock in now because, well, it's do or die for him.
He's got his Gianna back. Let's see what he can do with it. Jogun and Light Gojo are back in the pre-ban like they were in the first game, Topa.
Yeah, I hope that we're not running back to game 1 because that was extremely favored for Pooh once again, but we'll see what QIANG, hopefully is changing up here a little bit. Probably going for that Laura first because still as it did get banned in that match, and that's exactly what he does.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it just go with what works. If you know that it's gonna soak up the ban, that's great. That means you get your other four.
Yeah, but Pooh, I mean, probably just going to respond with the same picture. I don't quite remember what they were in that game one, but they were effective.
Yeah, Fire Megami. I think the Fire Megami was one of them. And here comes the Shiho, which was definitely the other.
Yeah, Shiho making, Pooh really liking the Shiho here. But we also do know that the Shiho is not on will runes. So we'll see if Kiang picks up on that. But no, he's going against this, going into a slower draft a little bit here with that Tianlang, trying to counter that Megumi again. And Josephine, I do like a Josephine pick into a Megumi and a Shiho.
And now the age-old question. America's favorite game show, is it Sonya proof? We'll find out momentarily who bringing the heat.
Yeah, is it Sony approved? That might be the question that, Kiang is wondering here too. Like, does he, maybe these monsters are Sony approved, and does he have, a couple other picks that would be able to withstand this Sonya? But he definitely needs some sort of damage here to, take care of this Misty in the game as well.
And Etna is making a return. She has I mean, she's repeatedly taken turn one, and that's great, but she hasn't necessarily done what she's needed to do. And she missed that stun the second time, though the Julienne is really flashy.
Yeah, Julian, we don't see very often these days, but that is a monster that is definitely Sonya proof. You cannot kill that thing turn one. And yes, you mentioned we have seen this Evna take turn one, so we know that Evna does outspeed the Shiho if they're on equal or no leads, but that is another speed lead coming out from Pooh, picking up a Fiery Yennefer, which does have an Oblivion to counter this Julianne.
How funny that we ran into one of these earlier today, too. Yeah, that's a good answer for what Kyung is bringing.
Yeah, Pooh, once again, just finding that very niche pick and somehow, some way has it ruined, for this exact moment to go. And, I am quite a big fan of that Fire Yennefer here, I gotta say. And I guess Kiang does not have Sonya-proof monsters on his side as that is his band.
Yeah, it is not. It is not Sonya proof. That's the answer. Here we go, guys. Potentially the last game of the set. Pooh sitting at match point. If he wins this one, that's it. And outspeeding the Etna this time.
Yeah, that speed lead obviously makes all the difference. They're getting that stun on Tianlang turn one. Josephine, maybe has something to say about this. Probably looking to provoke that Fire Yennefer. No, but goes for the Megumi instead.
Yeah, and Etna's looking at those buffs. She's like, those look real juicy. I'd like to have those for myself.
Yeah, it does get those buffs, but not dealing enough damage there. And I believe this is why I would have gone for the Fire Yennefer, because now it lands a Oblivion on that Julianne as well as spreading it to the Josephine. But missing the defense break, and Julianne might be able to get out of this Oblivion.
Yeah, actually, yeah, one proc is all it takes, and he can, well, he doesn't even need it. He doesn't even need a proc. He's just
does the Misty do enough damage here? This is crucial. This has to kill, and it does.
Oh my word! Just making the Julianne look like not even an obstacle.
Yeah, really making it like that. Tianlang did get a couple nice stuns there, but I still think that, Kiang should have really focused that Fire Yennefer. It is a monster that we don't see very often, but I think it should have been respected in this game.
Dang Skippy, dude. Yet again, he finds that moment where this monster is going to shine. I'm really impressed by Pooh.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of what we know Pooh for, drafting a lot of these. Well, I guess he does have an LD here once again in the Misty, but come on now, I mean, everyone's Misty, so that doesn't count. So, very utilizing these elemental monsters to their fullest potential. Yeah, finding those niche picks that are working so well.
True, and it's a Hall of Heroes, so, yeah, so you too could potentially have a Misty if you need one. And here it comes. He can clean up the kill here, potentially. Oh, just shy on the Tianlang damage, an overestimation, but this is still looking very much in favor.
Yeah, getting a bit greedy there, maybe, not killing off the Efna, but actually just knowing that since the Efna is slowed, his Misty is going to be lapping that monster. Misty does gain that speed, and Efna with the slow, just not able to move. And, once again, we have a couple optional monsters, and then we have a Misty on the field.
This is such a great showing, dude. Poor Kyung, just no passives in play with all these passive monsters. Pooh making it look easy with a 3-0 in our last semifinals game.